is not subject to our U.S. Supreme Court.
Oh.
So I want you guys to see this. This is a town hall with Senator Chuck Grassley in Iowa regarding the Maryland man Garcia, who is wrongly sent to El Salvador. And these are Americans who are concerned about the situation, as I know you are, as I am. And I want to watch this to you together. So let's take a look.
You're interested in border security?
Yes. I believe very strongly in my Christian faith. I preach on Sundays, and I believe very strongly in we welcome the stranger. Because
So I don't know if you heard that clearly, but she was saying, I teach on Sundays, I believe strongly in the Christian faith, and we're welcome to strangers. And if you don't know, Iowa has a long history of being very welcoming to refugees and others. If you don't know also my history, I was a refugee from Vietnam. It's a long, complicated story, but I find this whole thing very important to understanding the identity of America and our whole system. Let's watch a little bit more, and for me also too, it's comforting to know that other Americans care about this stuff too.
the least of these we do to Jesus. And that is what we've been taught, and that is what the gospel tells us. And I think turning away people who have come here for asylum is one of the most shameful things we are doing right now. Yep. It's not America.
And if you didn't hear, she was saying, I think turning away people who are seeking asylum is one of the most shameful things that we're doing. Watch some more here.
I just want to know, for you as a senator, as my elected senator, is there anything you can do so that we can follow international law better, or just the ideals of our country, to be a place of hope for others, where they can come when they are searching for a home because they have no place else to go.
If you didn't hear, she was saying, this is America, the people are searching for home and they have no other place to go. And I know the sound is kind of hard to understand in this one, and so I'm watching with you. I had to try to adjust it best I could. And we'll watch a little bit more.
Everything that we can do legally under our laws, we can. We welcome refugees. That's the legal status. He was
talking about, we welcome refugees, legal status. I also want to read this. This is a comment from someone just today, an hour ago. You can see from Vec, and Vec says, "Wait, the dude was in the U.S. for 10 years and did not become a citizen. That is the issue. This IA all on the gentlemen who choose to disregard the law. No sympathy. Too many Americans live in poverty or on the streets. Homeless Americans and suffering vets lose when our system is overrun by those who choose to disregard the law. Chris, would you live for 10 years illegally in a country that requires you to be a citizen?" So there's all sorts of issues with this post, but I wanted to show you a different point of view. That was me. I had questionable status in my early time in the USA. I did not choose to come to USA. The American military brought me. What's called Operation Baby Lift at the end of the Vietnam War. It's a very complicated story. I lost my family, but you don't have to be a citizen to live in USA. There are many people who are not citizens who live in USA who are there legally, actually. Be it green card, permanent residents, students. The guy that we're talking about in Maryland, he had protected status because he was seeking asylum. His kids are U.S. citizens. His wife's a U.S. citizen. Everyone has different circumstances on this, so I understand that maybe Vec has never met someone in this situation, but there are people like that. And you asked me, what would I do? That was my early childhood. I didn't become a citizen until later in my life. It is a complicated issue, these things, and also, again, I just wanted to reiterate, this gets at the core of what does it mean to be American, and are we a welcoming country or not? We'll watch some more.
Grassley, we're not right
Just a
now.
minute until it's quiet so I can hear you.
Senator
Well,
Grassley, right
I'm
now
not-
we're not. I mean, right now we're not. These changes have been taking place,
No.
and that's what concerns me
There's
so
no due
much.
process.
It hurts.
No
Here,
due-
here.
yeah, no
Due
due
process.
Yeah,
Okay.
so with law.
I would welcome refugees and I would welcome people that need asylum.
Are you gonna bring that guy back from El Salvador?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, because that's not the power of Congress.
Supreme Court said to bring him back.
Judges are.
Yeah.
And the president is upholding the Constitution.
He's defined the
You're on the
Constitution.
Judiciary Committee.
Trump don't care.
If I get an order, pay a ticket for $1,200.
And it's really important to hear this stuff because Americans can see what's going on, right? These are your fellow citizens. You know, it was a Supreme Court order 9-0, bring the guy back. Now we have an order from the court. You know, tell us the efforts that you're doing to bring him back or not bring him back. Like, tell us what's going on. This is really an important issue. Even someone was mentioning, as you'll hear, and go back a little bit. There's like, well, if I didn't pay, $1,200 to the government, what would happen to me? Like what happened to me? Basically, they're saying, what's going to happen to Trump? You're just disregarding the law. Watch some more here. You'll see.
Cares.
If I get an order, pay a ticket for $1,200, and I just say no, does that stand up? Because he's got an order from the Supreme Court, and he's just said no.
Yeah. He just said, screw it.
I'll be able to answer your question.
You ignored my letter.
Guatemala or El Salvador is an independent country. The
Can you
president.
speak up, please? We can't hear you.
The president.
So what Grassley's trying to say is El Salvador is an independent country. We can't control them. These kind of things. And other people have exceptions that you'll see.
That country is not subject to our U.S. Supreme Court.
Trump wanted to bring him back. Bring him back. I'm pissed.
If we're paying them to keep them down there, we don't have to pay them.
Why are we paying them for housing so we don't have control?
The next subject here.
Excuse me, Senator. Senator?
And these are all, people are saying, well, why are we, I think the last number I heard was $6 million, and then we're paying El Salvador to take these people, and they're just like, well, Trump wanted to bring them back, he'd bring them back, right? This kind of stuff. I mean, like I said, I think it's important for people to see this, to see that you're not alone. And this is the concern that Americans have, and we should be concerned over this stuff.
Excuse me, on that same subject.
Hey,
Excuse me, Senator Grassley, on that same subject. The Constitution, the framers of the Constitution said that every person, not citizen, every person within the jurisdiction of the United States has due process. And we would like to know what you, as the people, the Congress, who are supposed to rein in this dictator, what are you going to do about it?
And that's correct. Regardless if you're a citizen or not, you have due process, right? And this is what, again, the Trump people are doing. They're just ignoring the courts, trying to do these things in the middle of the night, not showing evidence of the things that they claim, just arresting people, basically kidnapping people off the street. And then Trump's own lawyers admitted they made a mistake, and so that's why the Supreme Court's like, got to bring this guy back. This is one of many cases. This is just right now the biggest one. And even, for example, the guy who wrote the comment on, which I showed you, were saying, well, you have to be a U.S. citizen to live in USA or whatever, which is not true. A lot of people who aren't citizens live in USA. There was a student at Columbia University, and I think that student had been in USA for several years legally, a resident, was applying for citizenship, and ICE came and arrested him at the citizenship application office, which is frankly really ridiculous. So that's what sort of really, this whole thing is very upsetting deeply. And Trump wants to change the laws on who can be a citizen or not, that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I just keep reiterating, it's important for people to be aware of what's happening and also see that you're not alone. Other citizens can see it too. So we'll watch some more here. And yes, people have a right to due process.
These people have been sentenced to life imprisonment in a foreign country with no due process. our government cannot do anything?
Trump is the king.
Why won't you do your job, Senator?
Yeah. Get explained.
Obeying the Supreme Court. Trump's not obeying the Supreme Court. He just ignores them.
Yeah, screw it.
He's doing whatever he wants. I'd be okay with that. Rolling
Let it answer,
around, allowing it to
please.
happen.
Let the senator answer.
What is a constitutional crisis? What does that consist of? A constitutional crisis exists when
So the guy is asking now, you know, we're in a constitutional crisis. What do you think about this, right? So Trump's essentially ignoring the courts, which is a constitutional crisis, right? Regardless of which party that you're in or where your political affiliation, like the pillar of our system, right? The three branches of government, and they keep each other in checks and balances, right? We don't want just one, you know, dictator just running off doing whatever they want, and it's scary because a lot of people. I'll just say this, be honest, people who are the MAGA and follow the Trump camp are seeming to sort of like turn their brains off or something and just ignore the Constitution. I just want you guys to listen to yourselves. This is the pillar of our system, right? And due process, right to hearing. Let's watch some more here.
you have a president who ignores.
And I think this gentleman's even wearing a MAGA hat as well. But he cares about due process.
Supreme Court. You have a Congress who fails to rein in a third branch of our government.
That's right.
Who is now violating our Constitution. You took an oath. I do solemnly swear or affirm. Do you remember that, sir? Yes, sir. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of office of which I am about to enter, so help me God. Sir, will you act upon your oath?
Yeah, I thought that I was, when I answered, I'll wait till the clapping's done. I thought when I answered this guy's question, I was doing what the Constitution requires. I'm trying to recapture the constitutional authority of Article 1, Section 8, one of the 18 powers of Congress to regulate interstate and foreign commerce by introducing the bill, which is a bipartisan bill, to make some of the mistakes that Democratic Congresses made in 1963.
That's Congress as a whole.
So what he's referring to is he introduced a bill. I can read here. I have it. It says Grassley Cantwell introduced bill to restore Congress constitutional role in trade. All new tariffs would expire after 60 days unless Congress explicitly approves them. Right. So they're trying to limit the power that Trump can do on the tariff thing. Doesn't necessarily address the issue of the deportations. That's why people were upset by that. Like, you know, let's talk about the issue, but it's all related. It's all important. Also, you know, regardless of what you think about Senator Chuck Grassley, whenever representatives show up to this, hey, you're going to talk to your constituents, to the voters. That's a good thing. Many of the Republicans basically won't hold these town hall meetings at all because they're afraid of their voters. But he's talking to those, which is what you should do. You represent the people in your district, the people in your state. So let's watch some more. And also, people are respectful at this, which I also think is important to see how democracy works. Right? We're not just throwing punches at each other, etc. You're seeing it firsthand. So it's always a good reminder of how our system works.
That's what I'm doing.
Congress as a whole,
bipartisan,
has the power to act, to bring.
Can you wait till they be quiet?
Congress as a whole, bipartisan, has the power to act to bring the executive branch to heel.
Yes.
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 Now,
and they're not doing
introducing a bill. Yes, that's one thing. But as a whole, the power of Congress to bring that executive branch to heel when they are behaving the way we're seeing, that power exists within you and your other members of Congress. Do you speak to your other.
The other thing I think it's worth mentioning as well, which this gentleman's not mentioning though, is the courts. The courts is part of it also, right? So again, three branches, because essentially we have the executive branch, the president, just doing crazy stuff, to be perfectly frank, illegal, unconstitutional. The problem we also face right now is the Supreme Court had that ruling, which basically said that Trump can't be prosecuted under what's called official act, whatever that means. So I think we'll probably have a revisit to that ruling again. Also earlier they were talking about, you swear oath to the Constitution. We don't know if Musk actually took that oath. I just want to bring that up because yes, the members of Congress, when I joined the Navy right after 9/11, I swore an oath to protect the Constitution. All of us, like I said, we don't even know if Musk did that kind of thing. I just wanted to bring that up. There's a lot of issues with this stuff. And regardless, again, I always try to make these videos for everyone, not just one side or one party. We want a system to, again, checks and balances, due process. This is rule of law is the key to keeping our system going and our democracy alive. Let's watch some more here what they're saying.
Persons in the House of Representatives of your party, do you communicate with them often? Do you discuss any of this with them? Do you hold any concern that Congress will be the next branch that Trump comes for because he is coming for the judicial?
The only tool that the Constitution gives Congress to do in regard to disciplining the executive branch is impeachment.
And you missed that opportunity in his first administration. You had two opportunities for that. That was probably one of the only reasons we're having this situation now.
I also want to bring this up is, should we be impeaching this guy already, Trump? It is a very contentious issue, and I know people have a lot of strong feelings about this. The problem is we have a significant portion of the USA that voted for Trump, right? Just be honest about it, people voted for Trump. And so if we were to, and I'm not against impeachment, I just want to make that clear, I'm not against it. You do something illegal, that we start filing articles of impeachment, right? There's so many things that Trump does is illegal. The problem is going to be though is like there's a segment of the population that may not accept legality of the situation, and then you have Elon Musk also spreading misinformation. So I'm deeply concerned about the constitutional crisis that we have here. That's why I wanted to lay out the overall implications that we have to think about. And we just went through this, or are actually still going through it right now here in Korea. They just impeached the president. This is the second time, and it's a problem because it says, and they actually, and what I mean by second time, President Park before President Yoon was impeached, they're basically the same party. So you have a segment of the population here in Korea that are frankly Looney Tunes, the same way that the MAGA people are. And again, I'm just being honest with you, and it's hard. It's like, what do you do with these people that spread misinformation, conspiracy theories, these kind of things, and you want to keep the system going and also be lawful and not tear everyone apart. It's very, very tough. And I just want to lay this out for you. I don't have all the answers, guys. I'm sorry, I don't. A lot of people have expressed in comments that Mr. Garcia may already be lost, maybe killed already in the prison. I don't know. I don't know what his status. I heard the Trump people are saying he's fine, but I honestly don't know. And I think every day that he stays there, his life is in danger if he's still alive. And this whole thing, as I told you guys before, it's very similar to the situation in 1987 in Korea. So that's why I recommend that movie, just so you just see the chain of events, because I've seen this game before. The government cover up of the illegal deportation is quite serious. And in my opinion, if you're involved with this, if you're watching this and you're part of the Trump administration, document everything that you see. Do not follow legal orders, right? Resign, make them powerless so they can't do anything. And if you're also, a representative or senator or whatever, fight within the bounds of the Constitution. And that is part of our system. We do not want people like Trump setting a precedent. It's a very, very dangerous precedent. And that's my thoughts on that. So there's a lot to talk about with this. I do appreciate everyone's time, and I'll catch you on the next video.